This is an Aeroworks Edge 540 with a 55cc engine. Here, I'm going to show you later, but here's where I have my my choke lever. So when I pull, choke is off. When I push, choke is on. This may be different in your plane, so you need to check where it is. When the choke butterfly is like this and is covering, choke is on and it's making the engine pull more fuel. When it's like this, it's letting the air go in and it's pulling less fuel. That's how you want to fly it. Okay? However, when you want to start it, you want to put or engage the choke. Okay. Now you will see a lot of people recommending to prime before you even turn the ignition on. I don't like to do that, and here's the reason why. The climate changes, weather changes, temperature changes, and with that the fuel delivery to your engine also changes. As crazy as it sounds, but it is like that. So I don't like to prime my engine and start flipping without turning the ignition on, because I'm running into the problem of overflowing it. Okay? If you get it flooded, then you need to take your spark plug out, let that fuel drain out, okay? Clean it, put the spark plug back in, and start all over. That's why I do not like priming my engine. Moreover, if you have a cover cowl where you cannot see the fuel tubings and see the fuel delivery when it's coming into the carburetor, I would not recommend priming. The best way to go is turn everything on, put your choke on, and start flipping. Okay, the other thing is, and this is a mistake that I used to do back in the day, I used to try to flip as hard as I could, and I used to end up with my arm, I couldn't even move it the next day. You don't really need to do that. You don't need to flip like you want to flip and have it flip 3 times at a time. You won't be able to. You'll kill your arm, and you're not really doing anything good. You know, you're not getting any benefits. Flip with a steady hand. Okay, you don't need to go that hard. Just flip steady and try to go for the second flip as fast as you can. Do not let it sit there for you know, the least amount of seconds you let it sit, the better. If you think about that, that's pretty much the same thing that a starter is doing. The starter doesn't let the engine rest. It keeps on flipping. So we need to try to emulate that and do the same. Flip, and another flip right away, and another flip right away. You don't need to go for a big swing like, you know. The one thing you want to do is get your hand out of the way as soon as possible, okay? Because if it does start, you don't want to have your hand in there, okay? So flip, you flip and follow through. Follow through is something that you will hear in sports, okay? Follow through. That's what you need to do here. Turn, follow through, get your hand out of the way, come back as soon as possible, do the next one. Don't kill your arm. Don't go for the big swing, okay? I will know when my tank is filled, because I'm going to see fuel coming down here. Okay, we're done. Now I go like 1 turn back, okay? I very carefully take the tubing out, my tank out of the way. Now guys, here's my radio. When you're about to start your plane, what I do, this is my trimming here. This is trimming. I usually go with trim to the highest point. And the throttle, I go like a little bit above all the way down. So maybe like almost close to the center. A little bit below center is fine, okay? Because when that baby starts, I don't want to go through the trouble of dying and trying it again. So this way you ensure that when it starts, it's gonna run. Okay. With that being said, something very important that you need to check. Assure. This is something you need to do every time, that this plane is very well secured and it is not gonna come towards you when you turn it on. Very important, guys. That's safety, okay? So now, my radio is on, trim is all the way up, okay? All my controls, my buttons are where they are supposed to be. Now I'm gonna turn that baby up in terms of the switches, and we're gonna start flipping from 0. Okay. So here we are. I'm double checking. My choke is on. My plane is well held back there. Okay. My throttle is where I want it to be. Now I put my radio out of the way and I'm gonna start flipping. I already know this baby is gonna take about 10 to 13 flips to be on. Okay, and that is perfectly okay. No? It's giving you the first hint that now we have fuel in the carburetor. It's almost ready to go. Now we take the choke off and we continue with the procedure, okay? Something that I wanted to cover with you guys. You see that I'm using a bare hand. In this case, I'm gonna have to tell you, don't do as I do, do as I say. Use gloves, okay? I feel comfortable doing it this way. However, I'm gonna tell you guys, use gloves. I do have a pair of gloves in my briefcase. It's the right way to go. So, you know, make sure that you use safety gloves or something and protect your hands, hey guys, okay? After you have started your plane, your engine, leave it about a minute or so on low idle. Obviously, you can have the trim up, okay? So it's going to be a high idle. Leave it there about a minute or so and then clean it. That means go full throttle and do that a couple times. Just, you know, clean that excess of fuel in the engine, and then you should be ready to go. Set up your idle with the trim here. On a plane like this, you want to have somewhere between 1700 to 1900 will be ideal. 1700 could be a little bit risky, just because you know, the lower the idle, the more risk of having a death stick on certain maneuvers where you flip, you know, full throttle and then go back down drastically. So I prefer to be between the 18 and 1900 RPM range. Okay, too high over RPM is going to be almost impossible to land. Okay. If you go over 2000 RPMs, it's going to be a little bit difficult to land, okay? Depending on the conditions. I've done landings with a very strong headwind where I had to land with close to 4000 RPM. And the plane has landed beautifully slow because it has just a strong force of air stopping it. Okay, so that you need to keep that in consideration too. So if you're new in this hobby, you're trying gas planes and you love them, and don't hesitate to drop your questions. You know, I'm not a full expert, but I've done enough to know, I've troubleshooted enough to be able to feel confident to help some people, okay?